When I was 15, I spent the summer with my abuela in a remote village in Mexico, the kind of place where time moved slower and stories lingered longer. Our house stood near a quiet riverbank. It was peaceful during the day, but at night, something felt off. I couldn't explain it then, but I knew something was watching. I've always been fascinated by folklore, monsters, legends, ghosts. One afternoon, while rummaging through some old books in my abuela's cabinet, I found a tattered collection of legends. That's when I first read about La Llorona, the weeping woman. It said, Maria was once a beautiful woman, adored by her village, and married to a wealthy man. They had 2 sons, but the man grew distant until one day he left Maria for another woman. Blinded by heartbreak and rage, she dragged her sons to the river and drowned them. Only when the waters were still did she realize what she had done. She wept and screamed their names until her voice was gone. Then she ended her life. But that wasn't the end of her story. When Maria reached the gates of heaven, God asked her, "Where are your children?" And she replied, "I don't know, my Lord." She wasn't allowed to enter heaven, not until she found her children. So now she roams the earth, searching, calling out in the dark, drowning in guilt and sorrow, forever cursed to wander the night. I didn't think much of it then. It was just a story. But the way the wind sometimes carried the sound of rushing water, even when the river was still, it made me wonder. When I asked Abuela if she believed in La Llorona, she didn't laugh or scoff. Instead, she quietly said, "If you ever hear crying at night, don't answer. Don't look. Just go back to sleep." Her eyes stayed on mine a moment too long, like she was remembering something. One night, I couldn't sleep. The wind outside carried a strange chill. Abuela's house didn't have an indoor bathroom, so I had to go outside. I told myself I'd be quick. It was around 3 a.m. The moon barely lit the yard. I grabbed a flashlight and stepped into the cool night air. Crickets chirped. The wind rustled the leaves, but the river sounded different, like it was breathing. I was halfway to the bathroom when I heard it. A woman crying. Soft, distant, but getting louder. It wasn't a normal cry. It sounded fractured, like every sob was tearing her apart. I froze. The air turned cold. My breath misted in front of me. I turned and ran, panicked. The flashlight slipped from my hand. I didn't stop to pick it up. I slammed the door and burst into tears. Abuela rushed out of her room and held me, whispering prayers and stroking my hair. She didn't ask questions. She just knew. Abuela placed salt by the windows and lit candles at the altar. I stayed in bed the rest of that day, too scared to go out. Even in daylight, the house felt colder. In the morning, the village was quiet. Too quiet. We learned a little boy from a house 2 blocks away had gone missing. His mother said she heard crying near the river, and then nothing. They found his body at noon. He had drowned. To this day, I wonder if I had stayed out just a moment longer, would I have seen her face? Would I have been next? Now I know why she weeps, and why you should never, ever follow the sound of crying near the river. Because La Llorona is still searching for her children, and sometimes she takes yours instead.